Welcome back to Best Futuristic Gadgets. The sky just got a lot more interesting. A flying car that carries its own aircraft on a ground vehicle and deploys it when the road runs out. A backpack helicopter you strap on your back and take off from wherever you're standing. And a speeder bike straight out of Star Wars that you can actually purchase right now. 10 next-generation flying machines you have to see. The sky isn't empty anymore. Number 1. Flying cars always had one problem nobody solved. Where do you take off from? The Xpeng AeroHT solved it by bringing the launch pad with you. This is a flying car system built around a ground vehicle that carries a detachable eVTOL aircraft on its roof, driving you to a suitable takeoff point, deploying the aircraft, and then serving as your landing pad and ground transport when the flight ends. The land aircraft carrier concept eliminates the infrastructure dependency that grounds every other flying car design. No vertiport, no helipad, no designated runway. Drive the carrier to open ground, a field, a large parking area, a rural road, and take off from there. The eVTOL aircraft carries up to 6 passengers with autonomous and piloted flight capability at speeds and ranges that make city-to-city air travel genuinely viable rather than aspirational. Every other flying car assumed the car could fly. Xpeng built one that carries the aircraft and changed the question entirely. Number 2. Every personal flight device requires you to get into something. The CopterPack Gen 3 straps onto you. This is a backpack-style personal helicopter, twin electric rotors mounted in a rigid frame that you wear on your back, providing vertical lift from a device that weighs under 20 kilograms and launches from a standing position on any flat surface. The Gen 3 improvements deliver extended flight time, improved thrust efficiency, and a refined harness system that distributes load and maintains center of gravity alignment through the flight envelope. Helicopters required a machine you climbed into. CopterPack requires a harness you put on, and then you leave the ground from wherever you're standing. Number 3. The eVTOL category is crowded. The Bellwether earned its place in it. This is a piloted electric flying vehicle built around a specific philosophy that personal electric aviation should feel like flying, not like operating a complex machine that happens to leave the ground. The Bellwether's flight characteristics are its differentiator, a handling profile tuned for the intuitive responsiveness that makes piloting feel natural rather than managed. Control inputs translate directly and proportionally to vehicle response, without software-mediated dampening that makes some eVTOLs feel disconnected from the pilot's intent. Designed for pilots who want to fly, not operate, the Bellwether is the eVTOL that puts the flying back in flying vehicle. Number 4. Every eVTOL gives you a seat and a control interface. The CoolFly gives you a platform and your own body. This is the world's first stand-up, gravity-controlled eVTOL, a personal flight platform you stand on and steer by shifting your center of gravity, the same instinctive control language that surfing, snowboarding, and skateboarding use. No joystick, no pedals, no instrument panel to interpret. Lean forward to accelerate. Shift weight to turn. The platform responds to your body's natural balance adjustments with a directness that makes flight feel physical rather than operated. Electric-powered, vertical takeoff, compact enough to store and transport without a hanger. Flying used to require learning an artificial control system. The CoolFly requires your body, which already knows balance. Number 5. The EHang 216S proved autonomous passenger flight works for short urban hops. The EHang VT35 extends it to the distances where air travel replaces ground transportation. This is EHang's next-generation, long-range, pilotless passenger eVTOL, a tilt-rotor platform that takes off vertically and cruises in fixed-wing configuration, combining helicopter accessibility with airplane efficiency across regional distances. No pilot inside, the same autonomous flight management system proven in EHang's commercial operations, ground-controlled, redundant, and proven in revenue passenger service, scaled to a platform with the range that makes city-to-city air mobility economically and practically meaningful. The tilt rotor configuration solves the range limitation that pure multi-rotor designs hit at distances where the comparison to trains and cars becomes relevant rather than purely theoretical. EHang proved autonomous flight is real with the 216S. The VT35 proves how far it goes from here. Number 6. Flying an aircraft requires a license. Flying the Lift Hexa requires a 15-minute training session. This is a single-seat electric multicopter with 18 rotors, enough redundancy that the vehicle continues flying safely with multiple motor failures, designed so that anyone can fly it safely without aviation background or certification. The flight control system handles the complexity. You handle the direction. The Hexa's autonomous stabilization manages everything that makes conventional aircraft difficult: attitude, altitude, rotor coordination, while you use simple, intuitive inputs to go where you want to go. Lyft operates Hexa at experience centers where anyone can fly, taking off, maneuvering, and landing a real aircraft on their first day without years of training prerequisite. Aviation has always asked for years of work before giving you the sky. The Hexa asks for 15 minutes and then hands you the controls. Number 7. In 2016, an aircraft circumnavigated the globe without using a single drop of fuel. The Solar Impulse 2 proved something the aviation industry needed to hear: that solar-powered flight at range is not a theoretical future capability, it's a demonstrated, achieved, documented fact. 17,000 solar cells covering the wings and fuselage, 4 electric motors, a battery system that stores enough solar energy captured during the day to fly through the night. Bertrand Piccard and André Borschberg flew it across oceans, over continents, through weather systems, completing the first solar circumnavigation in aviation history. The aircraft isn't a commercial product, it's a proof, the kind that changes what engineers believe is possible and what investors believe is worth funding. Solar aviation was theoretical before the Solar Impulse 2. It became historical after, and the technology it demonstrated is finding its way into every solar electric aircraft project that followed. Number 8. Jetson built one thing: a personal flying vehicle that anyone can own and fly. The Jetson ONE is an ultralight electric multicopter that delivers a flying experience so visceral and immediate that it changes what personal aviation means to the people who experience it. 8 rotors, carbon fiber frame, a safety system that continues flying through multiple simultaneous motor failures. The engineering behind it is serious. The experience of flying it is pure, uncomplicated joy. The cockpit is open. You feel the air, the altitude, the sensation of being airborne in something your own hands are controlling with every input. No glass between you and the sky, no cabin to muffle the experience, just you, the controls, and the ground growing smaller beneath your feet. Top speed of 102 kilometers per hour, automated stabilization that prevents inputs from becoming crises, a learning curve measured in minutes. Jetson called it the One because it was supposed to be the first personal flying vehicle for everyone. After flying it, that name feels exactly right. Number 9. George Lucas imagined the speeder bike in 1983. The Volonaut Airbike built one in 2024, and it works exactly the way you hoped it would. This is a flying hover bike, a single-rider personal aircraft that you straddle like a motorcycle and pilot through 3-dimensional space with handlebars and a control system that maps to the physical intuition of anyone who has ever ridden anything with 2 wheels. The ducted fan propulsion system provides vertical lift and directional thrust in a footprint smaller than a car, enabling flight corridors that fixed-wing and traditional rotary aircraft can't access in spaces that would stop a drone but not the airbike. The riding position is the key to its accessibility. The control inputs feel familiar before you've left the ground, dramatically shortening the learning curve compared to any other personal aircraft in this video. Star Wars made the speeder bike culturally inevitable. Volonaut made it physically real. The only difference between the film and the airbike is that Endor is optional. Number 10. Personal air vehicles have always been either too complicated for non-specialists or too limited to replace ground transportation for the distances that make flying worth the effort. The pivotal Helix found the exact space between those two failure modes and built something there that neither extreme had previously achieved. This is a personal air vehicle designed around genuine daily usability, a vehicle that sport-licensed pilots can own, operate, and use for actual transportation rather than a recreational aircraft that stays tied to an airfield between weekend excursions. The circular rotor design provides vertical takeoff capability without the mechanical complexity and maintenance burden of a helicopter. Simplified actuator count, reduced service requirements, and a certification pathway that meets sport pilot standards rather than demanding a full private pilot license to access. Sport pilot certification is achievable in weeks, not years. The barrier to personal aviation has never been lower, and the Helix was designed from the outset around that specific certification category, not adapted to it after the fact. The folding rotor system reduces the stored footprint to residential driveway scale. No airport required, no hangar lease, no dedicated infrastructure beyond a charged battery and a flat surface to depart from. Personal air vehicle ownership as a daily transportation choice, not a weekend hobby for the privileged few. The pivotal Helix is the vehicle that finally makes that case seriously and has the engineering to back it up. Thanks for watching Best Futuristic Gadgets. Subscribe and stay upgraded.